alumni survey or form that they can fill out, and we're going to try to spotlight our alumni that have graduated from Indianola Community Schools. National Honor students, again, at Whittier Elementary. Life skills class served up goodies for the high school staff. So just a lot of different things in regards to what's going on in our classroom and extracurricular activities. And to put that all in a board meeting would probably be too much. So what we'll try to do is make sure that people get the opportunity to see this on our social media. We have it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All the posts go on all three of them. So please take a look at that, and if there are certain things that we want to highlight, we absolutely can. But again, this gets out to a more broader audience than just sharing some of the things here that we're doing at the board meeting. So any questions on that? Received a lot of feedback from people that they've been following and seeing a lot of good things. So we'll kind of continue to push that out there. I know that was one thing that we talked about as a school board and as a community. How do we make sure that people see all the great things that are going on within our school district? So.
We are streaming now.
Awesome, thank you. Any board member reports? Okay. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming tonight. Delegations, petitions, and communications.
Sorry, Christy Hartford, I'm sorry. Sorry you have to listen to his voice. I'll start off with that, but it's better than it was. Good evening, my name is Christy Hartford. I'm a substitute teacher in the Indianola School District. I truly enjoy what I do. There are so many amazing things going on in this district, and I love being a part of it all. And some of the things, I was on the field trip with kids Friday at the ball game, that was super fun. A lot of the things going on, it's fun to see all that stuff. I'm here tonight to address long-term sub pay. I started subbing in the fall of 2015, and I believe the pay rate for daily sub at that time was $110 a day. Over the next few years, the daily rate slowly increased. In May of 2023, the daily rate was $140, so over 8 years, the pay went up $30. I was pleasantly surprised this fall when I received my first paycheck, and I learned that the pay had jumped $30, from $140 to $170. It had taken 8 years to increase $30, and suddenly the pay for daily subs jumped that amount over the summer. It made me feel appreciated, and that's a great feeling. After learning about the pay increase for daily subs, I was interested in learning about the pay for long-term subs. In the past, the difference has been $60 a day. For example, when the daily rate was $120, the long-term sub rate was $180 a day. And last year, the daily rate was $140 and the long-term rate was $200 a day. Since I had a long-term sub job lined up for this fall and this spring, I was curious to learn what I would be making. So I emailed payroll, and the response was that for long-term subs, it did not increase at all, but instead remained the same at $200 a day. That was quite a blow. More than the actual monetary amount, which is important, the thing that bothered me the most was feeling extremely unappreciated. When I accept a long-term job, I make a commitment to do my best so those kids can grow as learners and as people. I arrive early, stay after school, bring home work in the evenings, and go in on the weekends for several hours. Is all this extra work worth only $30 a day? When I'm a daily sub, I can read during my plan time, run errands over lunch, and when the bell rings, I walk out the door and don't have to give another thought to that particular classroom. That's not the case during a long-term sub job. I do the same things the full-time teachers do. Attend meetings, email parents, make lesson plans, grade assignments, enter grades, attend conferences, regroup kids for interventions, and the list goes on. I also make a commitment to be there for several weeks. It's much easier to be a daily sub. I can pick and choose when I want to work, which is great when I have a busy week with kids' activities. If I have a sick kid, I don't have to make lesson plans for someone else to cover my class. But for a long-term sub, I've made the commitment to be there every day for several weeks, which can quickly make things at home much more chaotic. I'm aware of this when I accept a long-term job, and it's something I know comes with the territory. In the past, the extra pay has made it worth it to push through and work hard for the weeks I had committed to. But for $30 a day, what's my motivation to put myself in that situation? Also, in order to be a long-term sub, a person has to have a teaching license. Several probably have their master's degrees as well. Daily subs do not need a teaching license. I want to thank you for the pay increase for daily subs. Please know that that bump in pay is appreciated. More than anything, I want to point out a possible future problem. I understand the sub shortage in the district and that hopefully this increase will help. But when looking down the road at long-term openings, will you be able to fill those positions? Personally, I'm fine taking daily jobs and making $170 a day. For only a difference of $30 a day, someone else can deal with the extra work that goes along with a long-term position. I do enjoy doing both, but it's a lot less stress on my family when I can come home from work and my only focus is on them. I'm asking that you consider increasing the pay for long-term subs. This will help retain the quality long-term subs that you currently have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chrissy.
That's all I got.
All right, anyone else? Okay. Next item is the consent agenda.
Motion approved.
Motion made by Rob,
I'll second.
seconded by Ben. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
5-0, right?
On our committee postings, I don't believe that I'm on policy.
No. It's,
Yeah, did we get that fixed? Because these notes, it shows that I'm on policy, and I think it's Eric that's supposed to be on policy, and I'm supposed to be in technology.
For the minutes, we need to clear up.
Yeah,
So
when we
that's-
met on the 28th. It's not a huge deal, but
No, it needs to be fixed.
it's page 14.
14.
Does that make sense?
Does that put Eric by himself then?
No, it should be
Oh, that was
Ryan.
just the changes.
Ryan and I got swapped, I think. Ryan is supposed to be on policy with Eric, and I'm supposed to be in technology. I think Ryan got put on technology. Yeah, so just flip Ryan out of technology to policy and put me up to technology, right?
I was thinking on policy, it was it Mac, Ryan, and myself?
correct.
So,
And technology should be Eric, Sue, and Ryan. And I fall on HR.
Are they all wrong? Did I?
I don't think Ryan was on technology.
Ray, what page are you on?
See, I don't think Ryan's on
14.
13, 14.
Ryan's not on technology.
So Ryan and I both need to come off of tech and go down to policy with Eric. And then Eric and Sue are on technology.
I think the technology and policy just got flip-flopped.
I think so.
Yes, right, so
Yes.
just
That's what it
switch
is,
the
yeah.
name.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let me change, so tech and policy, switch that. I will do that and correct the minutes.
Thank you. I mean, as much as I'd love to sit on policy,
You're welcome to join us if you want.
I might.
Okay. Presentations.
Go ahead.
Okay. Superintendent search firm contract. In the packet, you guys have the contract from McPherson and Jacobson. They were very, very gracious to come back, as we discussed in our special meeting last week, at a discounted rate to provide this search. It's been a couple years since we last went through this. Does anybody have any questions about the contract or the process for Kim?
Kim, has anything changed, substantially from the contract from a year and a half ago? So, I couldn't find the contract from a year and a half ago.
I do not have the contract from a year and a half ago, but the services that are offered with that other contract This contract really is a very, very pared down contract that only offers a certain amount of, we will advertise, there are 3 different, you can see the contract in front of you, we will advertise, we will recruit, and we will screen. And so that is a huge change of what we did, because there were 4 phases of different things, like holding stakeholders meetings, and there's just a plethora of things that we did the last time that this contract pares it down.
Right, and I think the biggest thing for those here and anybody who may be listening, the answer, last time we held a ton of stakeholder meetings with community groups, students, staff, gathered a ton of information. In a year and a half, the answers to those questions haven't changed substantially, so we still have all that information.
Negotiations with your candidate is not included. Last time McPherson Jacobson helped you with the negotiations with the person that you selected, setting up different schedules for interviews is not on this contract.
The other difference to this one is that we will get all of the applicant information. Shelley does have a non-disclosure agreement for the board and the staff from the district that are going to be involved in the process to sign. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page as board members on following up with references or calling around and asking questions about candidates. We need to let the search firm and Shelley take care of that stuff. If we've got specific questions that we want to ask, they need to be directed to Shelley. Any other questions or comments about the contract?
There is an addition to that from the original contract. Part of the insurance liability that McPherson and Jacobson has is that we will do the financial, the educational, and the sex offender contract, to see if they have any of, I think it's the criminal background contract. That's no additional charge. It's something we have to do in order to keep our insurance and have a viable business.
As far as the process goes, Shelley's got some information to share with the board on the calendar and a few things that we need to clarify tonight.
If you don't mind, can we move that maybe to the end so that we can,
Yeah, sounds good.
he
to
doesn't
me.
have to be here for
Yeah,
that part?
yeah, sounds good to me.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract.
First and second, any other discussion? All those in favor? Rather than. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
So we'll move the superintendent search process down past the next board agenda, is that correct?
Yeah. Thank you. The 2024-2025 high school course book changes.
I'm assuming you guys went through this with your curriculum group. This shouldn't be anything new than from what's been shared. I think it's just an approval so that we can update our course description book and advertise it with our students for registration. So there were some basic name changes, some wording that had to be adjusted due to staffing, just really minor things on this information.
That new course, the introduction to business, is that in replacing something, or is that just an additional?
That's an additional if, and I guess how we cover that'll just depend on the popularity of it. It was something that came out of our advisory committee to offer something that would cover a few more things within business, and give students a better introduction to the different phases of business that could be offered, so they know if they want to go into more of a marketing path, accounting, or just general business degree. But that one, and then the last thing on there was Intro to AI. That would be a new course that our current librarian would like to start to offer, and it's really a combination of things about introducing students to AI and educating them on how it could be utilized in an appropriate manner, along with some other computer technology skills that I would say that we don't offer as much of.
Is there a certification that our staff needs to hold to teach that?
She has her computer science certification, so she's over the last 2 or 3 years has worked towards getting, I want to say K-12. Yeah,
So
that's-
AI isn't a special, you don't need anything
It's part
special?
of computer science, that's where it will fall under.
And then back to that business question. So what is that class in comparison to what Brock Rogers
So he has
teaches
a
right now?
finance class.
So his is just called
This
finance?
is more of a finance specific course, whereas the introductory will cover multiple phases within business, not just finance, not just the business tech side of it where you're working with a Microsoft Office suite. It'll have kind of a variation of things. Entrepreneurship will be in there and things that we don't offer specifically right now.
So the stuff that are going to be in this intro class, we have the upperclassmen classes for them to take that in case they really become interested in one of these things they learn in intro. Like if they
So
really
intro-
become interested in marketing, we have classes to
Yeah,
back that
right.
interest up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doing that and then also the DMAC Academy within business as well.
Jeff, what's the flex model blended option?
Years ago, they started training teachers on a way to present information. So there was a number of courses that a teacher would take, I think it was 4, and then they could offer a flex model where students don't have to be in the classroom 100% of the time. And when we bring on new staff, they rarely will have that because it was a sequence that we offered here with the AEA and I think partnership maybe with Drake. So our current instructor for physics does not have that, so we're just removing that. And I don't believe that course was ever taught in that manner because I would say it was one of those courses where you need to be face-to-face. It's a higher level content and it's not easily done, I would say.
Any concerns with any changes from your perspective? Okay.
What, will you scroll down a little bit, please, Ray? The one more, the wild or recreational one.
Okay, the ag ones really was about offering a little bit more of a variation for our students for our electives. Prior to those two, there was a biotechnology course and then an ag leadership 2 course, which some of that change was due to just turnover from a couple instructors ago. And then last year was about fit. Well, we're still looking for that right fit. And just talking with our students in those classes currently, there was a desire to have something more geared towards the wildlife management. And then
So we do kind of, in a way, survey the kids to make sure what the majority are interested in. We're doing our best to try to get them classes that will help with what, oh, perfect, okay.
so we're hoping to see a little bit higher number in some of those.
Make a motion to approve the 2024-25 high school course book changes as proposed.
Second?
Motion by Ben, second by Eric. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, Jeff.
Tech committee report.
We met and talked about kind of cybersecurity and where our school district is at and how we need to continue to look into different systems that can protect what we have here. He's talking a little bit with the contract that we're looking at engaging in right now to help with cybersecurity, but knowing it's not the be-all, end-all. There's going to be other things we need to continue to work on through this. And so Ray and his department are continuing to have those conversations with those companies to see what is best going to protect us. There's been some interesting, obviously, cybersecurity kind of attacks on schools has kind of been in a hot topic, and they've actually had articles published by people that are the ones attacking schools. and in these articles, they'll list what they're looking for and how they're getting through firewalls and what they're looking for and all that. So Ray is really in kind of the thick of research and conversations on how can we improve what we have right now, as he continues to work with his staff and other experts kind of in the field. Unfortunately, we lost one of his really good employees. Was he with us 10 years?
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, 10 years, and so he had really a very technical job in our schools, and so, I don't know, Ray, have you posted that position, or?
Yeah, it's been posted, and
Okay.
actually I'm starting to line up interviews for that, so we'll get that filled
Yeah.
sooner or later.
Yep, so just continuing to have conversations about his staff, and as the technology, the AI, as all this world grows, what does Ray's staff needs to look like in order to help with keeping our school safe and moving in the right direction.
Along the lines of cybersecurity, what kind of steps do we take as a district to educate our students and staff on measures they can take to lessen the threat of cybersecurity, or for that fact, just digital citizenship for that matter, knowing that stuff you put out there could potentially be there forever and come back to harm you in, say, 10 years when you're looking for a job?
That's part of the social emotional being, the elementary, middle school, and high school all have a digital.
I mean, is that like continuous, or is it like?
It is, yeah. I mean, the way I understand it, and that's not here tonight issue, but yeah, I mean, they all have a component of, like at elementary, what's acceptable, what's not, and then middle school, it gets more into that. I know I talked with Officer Hackett, and he talks a lot about, he can retrieve anything, like even if you press delete, or even if you know, so he talks a lot about social media and the dangers of it, I guess. But there are curriculum-based things that are in the schools. AEA runs a lot of them, isn't it? AEA that has some of the curriculum, but I know it's in CHAMPS.
They do some of that, or they offer some of that. Some of it we take advantage of, some of it we don't. But we do cover those that are middle school, elementary, for staff. So we offer training, we have required training every month for staff. That's usually, it's always so far under 10 minutes, so there's only 5-minute training. There's one month it may be social media, the next month it may be password managers, the next, is how to recognize phishing. So those topics, those are every month, but they're under 10 minutes. So we try to keep that so disruption is minimal, commitment is minimal, but yet we're still keeping it fresh in their minds every month.
We get those as board members too.
Yes.
Okay.
You guys get the same one. Anybody who has a network account, as far as an adult, gets that training that you guys receive every month as well.
And again, part of the reason we do some of this too is also, it helps with our AMC insurance rates, if you want to touch on that just real quick.
Yeah, that is a requirement of our insurance, that we do train our staff on cybersecurity best practices, and so we just opted to do that every month, so it's always at the forefront. It's not just a 1 hour training or 2 hour training at the beginning of the year, and you don't think about it the rest of the year. It's a process. It is something our staff, there is a mobile app, so they can do it on their phone as well if they want to, but they certainly don't have to.
There's a lot of education in the Go Guardian app for the parents as well. That side stuff.
Any other questions?
I will say, I think I added, one of the parts of the notes here, I was hoping to have that contract ready for us this month. I don't have that, all the wording changes on that yet, so we'll shoot for January at this point to that signal contract.
The next item on the agenda is the 2024 summer and 2024-2025 school year child care rates.
As you can see, every other year, we've been kind of cyclically, so we don't increase it every year, but every other year. So this is the static year, if you want to continue with that process. When we look at what we are compared to other districts or other schools that have this type of a child care setting, we seem to be in the ballpark, but we seem to be more toward the high end. So by doing it every other year, that brings us more, maybe back into sync with them. So,
I'll make a motion that we don't increase the rates.
Motion made by Sue, seconded by Rob. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next item is the suburban bids. Carl Chevrolet has a significant difference in their base bid price on
It's a-
2023.
and it is a base bid, it's a base vehicle, pretty much. You can't even purchase them anymore right now. They used to have a base bid price with the DOT had a state bid price as well as the state Department of Administrative Services. Right now, because they can't get them, they don't have them. So the 56,000 was, that actual Suburban was built for a school district, and they backed out. So I think we win. We have to add we do a backup alarm on all of our vehicles, so they added that, but that's included in the 56,000.
Eat that, make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Ben,
Second?
seconded by Eric. Any further discussion?
When we put things, like, is this part of a rotation? Like,
It is,
like,
well-
are we expecting, so, like, is this in the budget for transportation because so many years have gone by?
Well, several years ago, I think it was at facilities, and I remember, Ben, we were talking about possibly buying smaller cars versus
Yeah.
the big Suburbans.
Is that
Were you-
still part of this?
This is
Oh.
the first time they've been able to get one.
Oh, okay,
So
So
they
it's-
were gonna order 2 more, and they can't even get 2.
okay,
Well, we could, but I don't think we want to right now.
okay.
So it's that same process, but it's taken 2 years since we've been able to do anything with it, so.
Is there a need for the Suburban over a Tahoe?
Suburbans, they're just what the district tries to do, and if you look at all our buses, they're all international, or they're all, internationals. So they try to have the same vehicle, so that when they have parts or they have anything that goes wrong, they can use, it's the same universal.
I just wondered if it'd be easier to get a Tahoe than a Suburban.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're bench seats, so they seat 9, so that's the other thing that's important to them. They want to make sure that there's enough legroom for the, like if you had the golf team or possibly, I don't know, smaller team, bowling team.
Cheer team or something like that.
They can take 2 versus 1 big bus.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Finance reports.
This is September. I thought I'd have October. We don't have October yet, so this is September. You'll see that through the month of September, comparing to last year, again, we are much higher than we were a year ago. And we noted that when we purchased all the computers from a grant that we basically cash flowed, and then we received the money after the fact. So we're that much higher going forward now. So any other funds? Let's see, I'm trying to think of if there's anything that's notable. Does anybody have any specific questions on any of the balance sheet piece? You'll see capital projects will obviously start gearing up. That's fund number 32. That's where all the high school will be built, or will be processed. As we get the bonds in, we'll put them in there, and then they'll pay out from there.
Is the $9 million that's in the fund now the bonds that we did last December? Okay.
Yep, so we've used a little bit as the architects are working, basically that's our expenditures and some of the soft costs that are entailed within the contract. So we should, December 20th is when and we'll get to that, segue into that, but I mean, that's our next, 10 million will be coming in at that point. You can go down, right? And again, shows that, again, not linear, so when you look at what we've spent to date, even though it's 25% of the year, it's not 25% of the budget. And the graph really shows shows the marked difference between, you know, the 3 months that we have that are so much higher. Any questions?
Motion?
Make a motion to approve the September 2023 financial report.
Motion made by Ben,
Second.
seconded by Eric. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, moving on to the General Obligation School Bond Series 2023. There are 4 resolutions that need to be made individually.
I'll make a motion. The resolution appointing paying agent, bond registrar, and transfer agent, approving the paying agent, bond registrar, and transfer agent agreement, and authorizing the execution of the same.
Motion made by Rob,
Second.
seconded by Ben. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Make a motion to approval of the form of the tax exemption certificate.
Motion made by Rob,
I'll second.
seconded by Sue. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Motion approval of the continuing disclosure certificate.
Motion made by Rob,
Second.
seconded by Ben. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Motion for the resolution authorizing the issuance of the bonds.
Motion made by Rob,
Second.
seconded by Sue. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
There's a lot, so.
Facilities Committee report.
We met with some representatives from the city manager, Ben Reeves and Charlie Dissel, and we just talked about kind of where they see some of their plans for commercial and residential development occurring. A lot of it is looking to be north and northeast. We kind of went over some maps of where those developments might be and what they might look like, and there's some links in the board packet where you can look at those. City's also in the process of a housing study that they anticipate being done this spring. So hopefully we'll glean some good information from that. And there's some of the information on the housing developments. And then we just kind of talked about, we had a pretty good conversation, and Ted can maybe add a little bit just about, in the future, making sure that we continue to have an effective relationship with the city moving forward, obviously, because it kind of goes hand in hand as new families move into this community, they eventually become students of our district. So you want to kind of add to that, Ted, a little bit? Or?
Yeah, just the goal is to not wait so long. Our goal is at least twice a year, maybe more, just to maybe have conversation about what's going on in the city, and also include Simpson with that, but really connecting with the city and saying, okay, what are the plans, whether it be housing developments or businesses that are coming in that could impact the student population, and how do we make sure that we're ahead of that game when all of a sudden, 2028, there's a blue collar factory coming in that could employ 150 to 200 people, and kids show up at our doorstep and it's like, we didn't know about this. So it's just to have that conversation and communicate, what are the plans of the city and what are the plans of the school district moving forward. And I think they were both very receptive to it and wanted to meet as much as we possibly could if they felt there was a need to.
Did they give you dates on any of these developments?
No, because some of them, these are all that are on the docket right now, but they didn't really state dates. Would you say that?
It's been so high, a lot of
Right,
developers
well,
have slowed.
I'm asking this because there was a 5-hour city council meeting, because one of these are in my backyard. So a lot of questions were brought up at the city council, myself being, can the infrastructure of our town handle 1,000 people on that north development? Can our healthcare system, can our school system? Can
You asked that
our
question.
law enforcement? So I think that's what's behind this, because, I mean, it was 5 hours of residents saying, we're already at this stage, but has there been a collective conversation about what we're doing? So, yeah, like our neighborhood, we've had several meetings with them now because, I don't know. It's a very interesting component, because I have seen the timelines. And if they grow it like that, it could get very interesting very quickly.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
At full build out, so if you do full build out, less the village, I didn't put any kids in the village, you'd be 10% increase is what you'd see at full build out of all of those. And we're using the 2.4 persons per household, not students.
Right.
So that's the number that they use.
Yeah, that's another significant, it kind of shocked me when I heard that. I mean, that's just the nature of the world we live in. People are having smaller and smaller families. So the number is 2.4 is your average family. That's just like, kind of smacks you in the face. You don't think about it, but it's reality,
But some of your largest developments are in the multifamily.
right?
And it probably agreed to the point, we talked about it, I think, last year, that pre-COVID, the school district did a demographic study. And the numbers were just off just because of everything that happened during that time. You know, at some point, probably in the next 12 to 18 months, it might be a combination within the city and the school district do another demographic study to find out, okay, these are the potential housing developments, how and could this impact the current school system? I think that makes the most sense, because maybe we'll have a clearer picture of when these developments might be coming through.
Yeah, I know our conversation, if it goes through, is 2025.
Start working it. When is full build out then?
Like all the phases are done. Is that what you're asking when you say,
Yeah.
what do you define full build out?
So when that development is complete?
The whole thing? I don't know that. I know that they were gonna start. I think I don't know if it was the multifamily homes they were gonna start with. I don't remember.
A lot of it will be market driven.
We've got second reading of some board policies. Nothing new other than the second readings. Happy to answer any questions if you guys have any. Otherwise, we'd entertain a motion to approve those on the second.
Do our nurses look over the health ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are these just the standard set down by?
Yep.
Motion to approve, is this first reading?
Second.
We have a motion to approve second reading of the listed board policies.
Motion made by Ben,
Second.
seconded by Eric. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Board calendar is attached. I think the only thing that I wanted to point out was tomorrow evening's informational meeting on the superintendent search at 4 o'clock, be held in the middle school cafeteria. Board members, if you're available and can be there, that would be great. If you're not available, totally understand. Cabinet, is there any changes that you guys would like to make to any of the committee meeting?
I have one. The board policy does not have a regularly scheduled meeting in December. I would like to have one on the 28th of December if people are still around, for those that can make it. That will just keep it consistent, because we missed last month with the turnover of the board. So If people can go on the 28th at 7 o'clock a.m., that would work. And that would be Ryan, Eric, and Mac.
Works for me.
I think that'll work.
Okay.
I'll send a reminder email out too. If I can get your email to work.
I'm up and running as of Friday.
Every time I think I send it out, it bounces back, so it must be operator error.
Any other dates? There will, well, we can talk about the calendar for the superintendent search.
And that March, oh, is that include March, or is that just January right now?
The end of December and all of January. All right.
Talk about the next board agenda and talk about the special ed piece. So
Yes. The agenda for the January 15th meeting, superintendent ends, real quick, before the meeting started, asked if we could talk about a work session with the special ed program, talk through some staffing stuff. You say about 30 minutes-ish?
Yes, definitely 30 minutes, maybe 27.
27, we're going to hold you to it. We also need to, at some point, have a follow-up conversation on private school requests that we got back in August. I don't know if you guys want to do a work session and put both of those on the agenda for a special meeting outside of our January 15th, or if you want to try to put all of that in the same January 15th meeting. We are going to have additional meetings in January for the superintendent search as well, so.
And we will, right now, I believe we have 2 presentations also that evening. I think so.
January.
How long should those last? The presentations,
What's that?
how long should they last?
10, 15 minutes each, I'm guessing, somewhere in that area.
I'm fine with having another meeting. We can do a morning meeting if you guys want and keep it right at an hour. I don't know, is our morning meetings tough for you?
I
or-
can be flexible.
Okay. I'll leave it up to you guys.
So in January, we're doing the 3rd.
Doing the
Monday.
3rd because of the early retirement, then you can approve everything and they can move forward with that.
Okay.
So that was why the 3rd.
If you want to do the 8th and the 15th, we can.
So you're asking if we want another meeting or just a very long meeting on the 15th?
Correct.
So do we want another meeting or a long meeting on the 15th?
It all adds up the same, so.
It does. So it's just what, if we look at, want to limit the amount of time that we meet together, especially with superintendent search, we should probably just go for one long meeting. But if we don't want to, because we'll meet several times probably in January anyways. So,
What's your preference, Sue?
Or if you'd like to try to schedule something next week, we can.
in the evening.
Either morning or evening. I don't care. We can go next Monday night.
No, because I will be attending the city council meeting. Next Monday night.
I'm gonna just do, tack it on at the end of the
On the 15th?
15th. Maybe John can bring some rhubarb and power us all through it.
It
sounds like a good reason for me. Gotta
better
get
grow
it
in the
in.
hydroponic growing, the hydroponic
I have
growing
to
system.
experience it before I start.
Okay, so our meeting, are we gonna start at 5 then? No, because Ryan's not gonna be able to make a 5 o'clock on Monday.
I think we should stick at 5:30.
Okay, so we're gonna go,
5:30 to 10.
let's not get that aggressive.
I'll try to do 24
Be all
minutes.
facetious.
So
Might as well
what,
just go for 20 now.
No, I can't do that.
so this is all still on the 15th, we're
15th.
saying?
Yep.
So we do have, so part of it's closed session? No, it's just a work session?
Just a work session.
Just make sure it's listed
Work session.
correctly.
Yep.
Okay. So we're gonna go start the work session at the beginning or
We'll probably do that at the end.
The work session at the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll adjourn and then have a work session.
If that would be cleaner, we could do that. That's fine.
The other question that was posed, and we don't have to make a decision on this tonight, but I know at our last meeting, we had some technical issues with the recording, and we had some more tonight. The question has been asked if we want to continue to live stream and record our board meetings, or a combination like we're doing now, or if we want to stop doing that altogether and invite the public to just come to our meetings. But that may be a topic that we want to have a discussion on either at the next board meeting or in that work session as well. Anything else that you guys would like on the agenda for that meeting? All right. Shelley? Are you ready?
You guys don't need to stay.
Handle that. Kind of awkward for me to listen about it, I guess. Go to the basketball game and cheer them on until you get their bed.
All right, yep.
Probably sit over there.
The big guys? Yeah, we are.
Do you want me to scoot over so you're not like there?
Big guys see.
It's right here too. I'll just scoot down. Perfect.
That was a wheel.
I'll send you guys a copy of this after we sign it, but it's a confidentiality agreement. Kim's gonna take
All
this.
those people.
Yep.
And data athletic, and the numbers they bring. Yeah. I'm gonna change
I think the school website is still showing that board meetings are Tuesdays at 5:30.
They still show that? Okay, we'll fix that.
We still need to adjourn by.
What's that? I'll let Steph know that.
We are.
Gee, I went to school here, can't think of it.
Is this a live discussion, or is this?
This is a public, we're still in the public meeting, so.
Kim is here from McPherson and Jacobson tonight to answer any questions. She had a list of questions that she wanted us to talk about here tonight, so they can get back to the firm and talk about the process. The calendar is a part of the package. We've changed the application window to be January 8th at 11 p.m. instead of January 10th. That gives the firm time to look at those, take a look at them. They're going to assimilate every application, send it to us once a week, send it to me once a week on Fridays. Their application, the resume, and what else is included with that?
The cover letter?
And the cover letter. So you can pare down the applicants to who you guys want her to do initial reference checks with. After that, after we pare it down to, I'm recommending 6 semifinalists from all the applicants that we received. She'll do a deeper dive on those people, bring that information back. Stressing again, with the confidentiality agreement, we can't contact anybody, that is their job. We have superintendent candidates would be upset if it got out to their communities before they were able to announce it. Oftentimes when they're one of the 3 finalists, they'll tell their board, they'll tell their community, they'll tell their coworkers. But until that point, we want to make sure that we keep everything very private. So that's a lot of what that says. And again, I'll send you a copy of that. Kim, do you have anything you want to add to that part? So as far as when we're going to hold the semifinal and final interviews, we want to be, it's kind of questionable, like the week of the 22nd or the 29th, obviously they would like to have a little bit more time to pare through those, to do all the background checks. So we'll be sent videos. We have some video questions that we'll be asking them to provide us. We'll come in, here, we'll watch those all together. You guys can decide who you want to interview from the list. So if that sounds good. All right.
That's a meeting during the week of the 22nd or the 29th.
Or the 29th, right. We want to be able to give them time to do it, so after we figure out, we'll have to decide on the 15th how many, roughly 6. And then we'll have them do the videos, and then Kim will send them here to me. Then,
And real quick on that, Kim and I talked, I don't remember if you and I talked or not, this was over the weekend. The 3 questions that will be asked are gonna be very similar to the ones that were asked in his videos last time. I did ask her if it was a possibility to add a 4th question specifically around experience with building projects and bonds. If that's something that you guys feel is necessary from the semifinalists, or from that initial pool of 6 or however many candidates we have to do the videos.
What are the 3 right
Questions.
I-
I would hesitate to
we're live.
tell
Oh, we're
you
live.
those at this point in time. It could be
Okay.
really good information for somebody to have ahead of time.
now? How do we get to see those? To know if we still want those 3?
Happy to share them. Yeah.
I have them right here in front of me, but,
Okay.
and the 4th question I have prepared
I don't remember them at
for
all.
you to take a look at.
Interview questions, I have a list of those from before. It's an extensive list, there's 3 or 4 pages of them. We can choose those on the 15th. We'll have our work session at that point. You all can decide which ones you want to do that. I'm thinking we would do a group of I understand the last time we had a group of students, a group of staff members, a group of community members, and a group of, I guess, administrators. Was that the 4th group?
Yeah, I think so, yes, administrators.
So, and then have similar, like, the students wouldn't obviously have the same questions that the community might have. There would be a whole different set of, we can decide on those. If you guys want to send me some recommendations, I can send you a list of people that we can consider for that, but send them to me by Wednesday, if that works for you all.
How many would you like from each category?
60
I mean, students or questions?
students. How many students, how many community members, how many community?
6. And I can provide a list of questions that are not suggested to ask, if that would be of help for the groups to have. If I haven't said that to you, I'll find that linked of questions that might pose a problem.
I have that from before.
Okay, got it? Okay, perfect.
What are we supposed to send you, Shelley, and when?
Recommendations for community members, staff members if you like, and we can get a list of students from the building principals, high school, middle school, I think we did before.
By this Wednesday?
Okay, I'm confused. So you're gonna get, so like, are we gonna be able to look at what you're getting on Fridays? All the the resumes are coming to you and you're shuffling through, how is that process working then?
Whatever you guys are thinking. I mean, we can.
Oh.
Forward those by email to everybody?
Like, yeah, that's my whole thing, so you get them all.
What do you think? I mean,
The office will go in and when the applicants applications are sent to us, they'll go in and redact information as far as people who are their references or names of references and phone numbers. And they will send it in probably an email or PDF for you. Each one would, I would assume, have a file. So Kim Antistel would have a file. There's all Kim Antistel's information. Matt Rankin would have a file, so you would have different files of each of the candidates that she would forward to you.
But that would all be protected information that couldn't be FOIA requested if it's sent through email.
That I do not know.
That's what I.
This is just what I'm trying to think, like, are we gonna have to meet or come and find you on Monday and Tuesday of the following week to read through these and look through these?
Well, if it's sent to Shelley electronically, then it's already,
Would that be for elected information?
It'll be sent to Shelley by
I email that out to them, is that
No
protected?
different than if you received it any other way, and FOIA doesn't just apply to electronic.
But does
That would be confidential information that we
That's what I'm
wouldn't have to
wondering, is it
give out.
confidential information that would be,
I think that's probably a question for Emily,
or whatever?
for our attorney, I don't know.
I'm guessing this is the same process for every other school district.
You know, this is a little bit new for us, but I would imagine it is. You know, when I talked to the home office today about the situation, that's what she told me, that we would send the information to Shelley, and then she could disseminate it to you. We didn't talk about how your end would work with it.
And I guess in the past, you guys have sent that information along to the school district electronically, so I would think all candidates would know what schools can undergo FOIA requests, so.
And understand, getting those, sometimes candidates withdraw. So you may not get a completed application at the time because they're still working on it. Some of them, whatever reason, decide to withdraw. But we'll know when the application deadline closes who has completed the process.
So I guess that's a question that needs answered, because if you can email them to us, that's great. If you're not allowed to email them to us, then we're gonna have to find a time either individually to come in and read through these or meet as a group to go through them, correct?
We'll
Okay.
find that out. I'll let you know.
Okay.
I think of what happened, I'm thinking of a parallel, but maybe not so much a parallel, of when we have if we have a closed session and somebody wanted to listen to the tape, I cannot email that to you. You need to come in, if you weren't able to come, you'd have to come in and listen to it in my presence. So that is different than this, but I don't know
Right.
how to treat this.
Shelley, and other hiring type discussions here at the school, is that information shared via email with staff members and such?
Such as lists of who the candidates were.
Well, I mean, if we're hiring a teacher or a principal or anything else, I mean,
No, they log into a website.
oh, really? Okay. Okay, interesting.
Okay. Well, we just need to.
Maybe protected information, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna
let
check on
us-
that for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I guess a question, right? So you're gonna be getting all of these. I know from our previous meeting, right, there's a desire by some to be able to see all those candidates. But are you also, I guess I'm interested, Shelley, in you kind of pre-screening those and coming up with your, kind of your list, or?
We'll be able to see all of them, but let's say that somebody applies and they have been a high school teacher and have no background or experience as being a superintendent or administrator. Can they take them off of the list, or do you want to see everybody no matter what?
People apply that aren't qualified.
I think it's gonna be a pretty quick peek and move on for all of us. But I still think that,
I guess my preference would be to have those sort of like a recommendation of not qualified, or, you guys probably have more experience with reviewing those types of things, so that's, and if we choose to.
It says, here are the candidates that.
But I think that could get hard only from the perspective of if we've got a great resume from somebody out of New York City that's been a superintendent for 35 years, are we gonna automatically move them on when we maybe have an assistant principal for 20 years in a state of Iowa rural school?
Well, ultimately, you'll be able to see them all regardless, so.
What I'll originally do when they start coming in to see with their letter of application and their resume and their other letter, how it matches up to those things that you have decided that you want for your district. And if they do not speak to those things that you have already identified, that would be something I would put down, did not speak to the fiscal responsibility piece of that. So I'll take a peek at that. That is a question that I do have, and if I'm stepping on your toes, I'm sorry, Shelley. She was working on Iowa Works today. Are you, what is the parameters for the position? Is it for someone with, can anyone with no experience apply? Do they have to have experience?
That's my next question.
Okay, how do we, when I talk to candidates that may not have had actual superintendent's positions, but have been assistant superintendents or HR directors with a PhD, or help me understand to help vet that if it's open to anyone that has the degree and maybe not the experience.
I think at a bare minimum, they need to qualify with the education and the superintendent's certificate.
We can't hire them without that.
I was about to say,
That's the
Yeah, they
minimum.
have to have
I mean, I
a
think that needs to be the minimum. As far as actual experience,
Iowa Works website required it. How many months of experience do you require them to have? 0, 12 months, and so on. So
I think that experience, though, could be found in more areas than just actual superintendent experience. I mean, I don't know as though we want a brand-new graduate that's got 12 months of experience as a teacher, but
Shelley, how was that experience worded? Was it
how many months of experience do you want the candidate to possess?
as a superintendent, or, okay.
Was there a place for 0?
I think so. And I can modify it too, so.
I would say if you have to fill in that blank for superintendent specifically, to put 0, but then if there's somewhere else that you can put, like you said, like if you've served in an assistant superintendent role or an administrative position in your district or whatever, that way it gets us through that hurdle in the drop downs.
The Iowa Works, I understand, is kind of crazy. That's what I'm
But in the job
understanding.
description, we can say administrative experience preferred. We can modify that.
Yeah, I just hate to get stuck on a number like, let's throw out like 5 years, because experience can be good, and experience can just mean you've done something really bad longer than others. So.
That's right. And do we want videos? That's another question. Do you want everybody to do the same video for screening? Okay. That's about all I have.
Would you like an update on what work has been done so far? I can tell you that we have a list or have contacted approximately 40 people so far about this position, and that was before it went live on our website Friday at Mac and Jake's, and Iowa Works is live now, I believe. So I checked the Power School, our Power School website. That's who we go through to look at applications about 10 o'clock this morning to see if anyone between Friday and today had done anything. There were no applications on that, and I get notification via my email when there is one, and I have no notifications tonight. So that is an update. I've got people that are asking people that are asking people, and I'm asking people too. So we're beating the bushes for you.
of those 40, it sounded like there was some interest from a
Yes.
lot of those.
There are some interests. There are. It's interesting that when I talk with the other consultant that's working with us is Dr. Steve Murley. He is a professor at the University of Iowa. He was a superintendent in Iowa and in Wisconsin. He's kind of at the end of his semester, so he's been doing grades. He's a PhD. He has PhD students, so he modified the list that I was given and knows other people on it. So if that answers your question, yes, we have interest. We have some people who are saying, yes, I will apply, and I'm interested in applying. And others, you just kind of, they have to think about it. And some play their cards pretty close to their chest.
Compensation was another thing that we wanted to range to be able to,
I sent, we went through the Iowa School Board Association and sent Shelley and Mac a 5 up, 5 down, I believe it was, and what your AEA had said for what the superintendents in the area are getting. And when I talk to candidates, that is one of the questions they will ask, is what the range is for compensation and benefits. And so, it's not a set thing, I understand that, but just to tell them a range, and Mac and I had talked about a range, and thinking about the rest of the compensation, how, if you're gonna put anything in a TSA, or for health insurance, or what kinds of things you're going to do, helps me to be able to help sell your district to say, hey, this is the range, and here are the benefits that are offered.
Saturday, I pulled that list from my ASB and looked at basically every superintendent in the state of Iowa's 2022, 2023 total comp package, included their base salary, any health benefits, any extra benefits, and then their total comp. When you look at our 5 up, 5 down, we're on the high end. When you look at the metro, we're in line. I still think we're a little on the high end for the metro. When you look at per capita student, I can pass this around for you guys to look at. My idea originally, when Kim and I talked earlier this weekend, was pretty much solidified with the conversation we've had about experience and whether or not we're specifically looking for superintendents or not. My gut is telling me that we have a pretty wide range to really look at all of the candidates that apply, whether you've got less experience, less education, but you're still a really good candidate, or whether you've got all the experience and all the education and you come from a bigger school, whatever the case may be. I want to keep the window open for everybody. My initial thought for a window was somewhere between 170 and 240. But again, I think that it's really going to depend on what the overall candidates look like. Love to hear whether or not you guys think that's too big, not big enough, too high, too low.
Kim, from your experience, what's that?
I talked with the superintendent in Sheraton today, and while his salary was lower than this, he has benefits with the tax shelter annuity. So that's how they make the difference. I think while Indianola still thinks they're a rural school, you are in the golden circle. You are the register says that you're in the golden circle. I think I looked at Urbandale's, and Urbandale's is comparative to what yours is. They don't have a different superintendent. I look at DCG's, they have the same number of students, and it was on 2022-23. He is gone. They have an interim superintendent, so that one seemed a bit high, and he had multiple years of experience. I think it's a delicate balance of what the board and the community feel comfortable with, and what kind are you looking for. Someone from, depending on the candidate, because someone from a smaller district probably isn't making as much as they will in this district. Someone from a bigger district, it'll have to be negotiated differently if that's the right candidate and the right fit. Am I answering your question, or am I being evasive?
No, I guess, to Mac's point, I think we want to make sure we get the right person and not necessarily the right experience. And I guess my question would be, it formed in another way, like, say you had someone with a lot of experience, would they look at that range and be like, I don't know that I'm gonna apply because this range appears that they're gonna lowball offer a salary, or, but at the same token, if you have somebody who maybe hasn't been a superintendent yet, you need to have that variance. I guess I'm just asking, is that too big of a, because historically I've never,
I think it's a pretty wide, 70,000 is a pretty
Yeah.
wide range. I mean, this 170 to 240 is a really wide range.
So I guess I'll phrase it in other words. I think the range encompasses, our general consensus is we want to see everybody. But does that potentially, is there any negative effect to that where it might?
170 might scare some folks away.
Yeah, that's kind of where.
Do
I
you
was
say
thinking.
starting at and not put a top end?
Why were you at 240 when we're already holding our own at 225 with these schools?
Urbandale has 12 more students than we do, and they're $3,000 less than us. Norwalk is,
Right, but they're all around the
11.
225.
yeah,
Why would we go to 240 if we're holding ballpark with Norwalk?
just to get the right,
Just looking at the list, right, Southeast Polk's at 230, Ankeny's at 245.
And how many more, I mean, those are big schools.
That was last year.
Ankeny's huge.
And is that salary or total package?
salary.
Okay, because some of those may have different total packages. You may have some that, the superintendent at Sheraton gets full family insurance. So that's something that they'll look at too. It's not just salary, but the total package.
What's our current total package?
268.3 was last year's total package. And then in comparison to Urbandale, they were total package 282. But then Dallas Center Grimes is a little bit bigger than Urbandale, they were at 266.
And that was last year, and he is gone.
So is it less that the other person makes?
What imagine, because this is an interim, it was the high
It's
school
only
principal
interim.
that moved into that,
Yeah.
to that position.
And a different way to look at benefits, kind of what they've done here, and now that we have a high deductible insurance with a high or HSA, and the other piece to that is IPERS. So if you want to maximize your benefits, put it on the salary, not on the benefits, because then you're gonna gain that, the salary goes to your IPERS forever versus if you take it as a benefit, it's not a benefit. I guess that's how I looked at it, so.
The documents I sent to Mac and Shelley it was kind of there was a graph on it that showed where you guys, what the salary was, how benefits, and well, there was another one. There were 3 things on there.
Retirement benefits, health benefits,
Yeah,
other
require-
benefits, and total comp.
Shelley, what's the range we give other administrators when we look for positions?
What range do we give
You know,
others?
what range would we put out there between X and Y,
Yeah, starting at.
starting at?
It just will help for me to be able to tell candidates what the range is and possible benefits, because that's going to be something you'll negotiate with them when you select the person.
On that wider range, if someone calls and asks and you give it to them, and you set the expectation that our current superintendent is at 232, does that change their outlook, or do they? I really just want to make sure that we're keeping all of our options open and we are inviting everybody that has interest in applying.
Probably the follow-up would be that superintendent is retiring. And usually they move up as they are in the system or when they're hired and they have experience. So if the caveat was the current superintendent makes 232, he's retiring, that might be, oh yeah, I might not be able to make as much as someone who's been in the business longer than I have.
I thought we gave a range for this last search. We did 18 months ago. It was 180, 190?
190 on the
To
low end.
230?
Yeah.
Robin, I just, that's what,
235.
Jinx, we
What if we just did that again?
Is that what we did? 190 to 230?
230.
Try to
I don't know
squeeze
that
it.
that's what we did, but we were just looking at that and we both, I mean, that seems to be,
Yeah. It's for me, if that's what you guys want.
I just look at some of the districts that are below the 190s and are a lot smaller,
One, if you look at,
less, further away from the metro areas.
you look at careers, some will want a lateral career, right? Some will like to come from a two-year career and maybe come up, so.
I got it. 190 to 240. 190 to 230.
Got it.
Salary.
Yep.
Johnny, you said in on those, they negotiate those other things in closed session when the person accepts the position or when you're working with them. So that, those don't have to be decided when you, yeah.
Any other questions for the board?
I just have a question on the calendar. When would we know if it's going to be the week of January 22nd or the 29th?
They would prefer it be the week of the 29th,
Oh, okay.
just to give them more time to
And I-
agreeable with you. I don't know what your timeline is.
I was just trying to think of my work schedule and stuff, so.
So then look at your calendars for the week of February 5th for interviews, right?
And yeah, I think we need to be conscious of Ryan too. And so if that week we need to do like some Tuesdays and Thursdays, because Thursday he only works till noon. And Tuesdays, I think he can get off at 5:30, so. And I don't know how it affects others, but I know that he's like, there's certain nights that aren't an option for him. And I just want to make sure that we have full 7 board representation when we go through this
And
process.
last time we did the full interviews on a Saturday. Yeah.
The 6 of them on a Saturday.
But we need to get that on the calendar much sooner because
Yeah, I
That
just
would
wanna-
be good.
Yeah,
That would be-
yeah,
that was
we need
not
to
a
get
good
that
situation.
set so we can all plan and make sure we're.
So that
You wanna
week
do
of
it-
February 5th, what is that Saturday, the 9th?
Selection order superintendent. Do we need to do a Saturday again? Or could we do? That was off. Yeah.
that was not, like,
I'm
my
fine with
entire
doing a
family was
weekday.
here and I wasn't even there.
and do we need to do them all on the same day? Or could you go 3 and 3?
Well, and, yeah.
It was an hour each, remember, if you recall, it was an hour each.
Is that for the semifinals?
Well, it was an hour each that we interviewed them, but then we had to have discussion time
At the end.
post that, so.
So it was 6 hours, and then the 7th hour was the,
Was that the semifinal?
that was
Is
the
that what it was?
semifinal.
Okay.
How is that for the candidates if you, I mean, I don't have a problem with a Saturday, but trying to do something during a week for a candidate
That's
if
kind of tough for some of them.
traveling and
Yeah,
current
depending on,
positions.
some of them
and
don't
all that.
always have Monday night board meetings, some of them have board meetings on other nights. So,
Weekend's kind of a big consideration for the candidates as
I
well.
believe that that's.
So- If we're gonna decide Saturdays, like I'm gonna be 100% selfish and say we need to do it sooner than later, because like between
I think we
show
should
choir and
just-
volleyball, mine are like packed.
I think we should just decide tonight that we're either gonna do the 3rd or the 10th.
Wait, for what?
For final interviews.
Oh, what about for semifinal?
Or, I'm sorry, semifinal interviews.
3rd or the 10th of February.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm looking at the wrong date. That's why that.
There was some feedback the last time that the candidates, one candidate was, what suggestion would have been, had him on Saturday and then turned right around and if he was, and that person was a finalist, that they'd like to have had it the very next week. And I think we maybe waited a week. Do you remember, John?
It seemed like there was
Yeah,
a,
that fell over Valentine's or something, didn't it? Or
but it
spring
seemed
break.
like it was well, it was before spring break, but it was after Valentine's because we had a board meeting on Valentine's, a regular board meeting.
So that was just a suggestion that they like to have it on Saturday, and then if you made it to the finals, turn around and head back that next week.
So then you're not hanging out, dragging out, yeah,
So then there were not what?
you're not dragging it on.
So like,
So,
oh, I'm sorry, Matt.
No, you're okay, go ahead.
So on the 15th then of January, I will come back and give you the list of my thoughts and then you guys will select your group to finalize you select your semifinalists then.
On the 15th.
Correct.
And we would have had our time to look at all these candidates as well.
Correct.
Okay.
This would be closed session because you're hiring or firing, so this would go into closed session.
Yes.
Then after you select that night, then I'll go back with a shorter list. Tell those folks to do a video, unless you want a video of the entire 6 or just the ones that you show as finalists, you select as finalists.
Wait, so on the 15th, we have our regular meeting, a work session, and a closed session.
That's, I mean,
Am I
No, no,
quoting
you're
that?
5:30.
Is that right, right?
that's right.
Okay. Better eat my Wheaties.
We can move one to the next
Absolutely.
night, too. You can move it to the 16th.
Or something
February,
else. Yeah.
no, January.
It's fine, I just want to make sure, like, I'm 100% logged in.
That's what I wanted to make sure that you understood, that that meeting might take a bit.
January 15th meeting.
Correct. My portion of that meeting might take a bit.
How long?
Martin Luther King.
So,
The 8th
January 8th.
is a Monday. Is the Monday before that. That's when it closes. And then you're going to assimilate all the ones that we haven't received already at that point, right? Because
should have gotten
You're
all.
giving them to us as we go every Friday.
that's what the plan is.
So every Friday up until then. Now, there might be a lot that come in the last weekend.
Which they do. They tend about the last 2 days barrage with.
So between the 8th and the 15th, they could be selecting their top ones that they want to hear.
Sort of, and then finalize it when I share the information. It's like, oh yeah, that's what I thought too. Or here's a question, did you find out?
And at that point, on the 15th, do we go down to 6 from that?
That would be my suggestion. And then you could get videos for those 6 to take a peek at.
Did they already do their videos, or we had to request videos at that time?
Yeah, I would, because if you have 20 applicants, the office is not, in the video things I have, it's $50 per video, but that's part of your contract, so I would say those are videos that would be 12 minutes since you have 4 questions. If you have 10 candidates that you look at, that's a lot of time you're gonna be sitting watching videos.
So okay. So when would we get the videos then?
As soon as you name your
The 6.
semifinalists.
You would already have the videos, but then you would send, you'd request
No, we'll probably
the videos.
get them a week later on the 22nd.
Right.
So we would get the videos.
Right, because when you name your semifinalists, we'll send information out to them to say you're semifinalist. You have this window to do your video. They have a window of time that they do the video and turn it back in, send it back in, and then get it back to you.
So like, in reality, we could meet on January 23rd, a Tuesday, with 6 or 7 videos? Or will the candidates need more than a week?
I think a week would be fine. That's a pretty quick turnaround.
Are you saying that's too quick of a turnaround? No, so we could perhaps schedule a meeting to look at the videos on Tuesday, January 23rd.
Now, why is Tuesday for Ryan?
Because that's closed session anyways, right? We're looking at candidates.
If it's just that, right.
'Cause that's what we did last time.
Yeah, it was only that for the
Just the
meeting.
videos.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna take an hour with discussion. If you do 6 or 7 at 12
Oh, are we
minutes.
not? We're watching the videos as one, not individually.
Last
That's
time
what
we
did last
watched
time, we
them.
watched them in here. But
So
then
I
I
only
think-
watched 6.
We watched
No, we
7.
watched, no, it was more
Oh,
than
we
that.
watched 12.
It was 12.
That's right, and then that day we narrowed it
six
down to
For
6.
interviews.
And we brought 6 on.
So,
We brought 6 on site because that was that Saturday.
Yeah, because we did 7 hours worth of
Yeah,
interviews.
we brought 6 on site. And then we brought 3
I don't remember.
on site that did the tour and all of the whole meeting with everybody. We had 3 that met with all of our groups.
So that
So what's the
15th.
point of the video if we're gonna bring them in anyway?
Right, that's what I was
Because
saying.
we went from 12 to 6 with the video. We had our top 12 and those 12 did their video.
I feel like
we
I would
dropped
want
it.
to see the videos prior to selecting the 6, I guess, if I already know I'm bringing them in, yes, that's my thought.
So is it
Why
fair-
would I care to have a video?
So we could probably, if the application window closes, I mean, if there are 20 applicants, do you want 20 videos?
Is it fair for us to give you the list on the 15th of the people we want videos from, regardless of what that number is?
And have the videos, if you give me the list the 15th, and then have the
The
videos,
following Tuesday?
and then they would have a week?
And then if we decide we want 12 videos, that's fine. If we want 8, however many videos we decide.
I guess I would rather watch the videos and then narrow it to my 6. That's how I would prefer.
That's what we did last time.
And we may not even narrow it down to 6, maybe we'll narrow it down to 4.
And the input that the firm would give you would be when?
On the 15th.
On the 15th, yeah. To know
We would go
what
through all
videos
of
we
them.
want to see.
No, her insight needs to be before that, because if we're giving her who we want to see a video of, we've got to hear their insight before we pick on who we want.
Well,
I
how about
think we
she
do all
gives
of that
it, and in
at the
that,
same time.
end of that meeting, she leaves with how many videos we want.
Yeah.
After she's
And
given
you
us.
don't want my,
Yeah, you bring your input
You
to
bring
us on the
your
15th,
input.
and then you'll lead with our list of,
Of who we want videos from.
So we're selecting semifinalists instead of finalists there.
Then,
so then the 23rd, that Tuesday night
Just
is
if
the
it
night.
works for Pete, I'm just thinking for his schedule. Or we could do a Thursday.
so wait, so then when do we narrow it down to 6 based off the
The
results?
23rd.
That's sometime the
The
week of the
following week.
22nd.
So we still all watch them together
Yes, that night, and then we narrow it down from then.
on the 23rd, or whatever.
That's what's proposed,
That
yes.
week, sometime.
so
We
what,
watch all the videos, select 6.
so originally we were talking about selecting semifinalists on the 15th. So how many videos do you think we're gonna be asking for?
Last time we had 28 applicants and we asked for 12 videos.
It was pretty. We had some pretty decent discussion. We had 3 or 4 that we were able to take out as a collected group, but then we had some pretty lengthy discussion on like 9, 8, 7, and 6, that group there.
And the other thing that we need to remember is, we understand that this is a long process, but this is one of the most important processes that we as a body do.
And I guess the other thing I would just say, right, and is that I want to make sure that we're leveraging the experts, our hired guns that do this for a living, and our HR folks, because I feel like they can make that process more efficient. You know, they do this for years and years, and, you know, we don't do it as often.
But it is our responsibility as the board to hire
It
the
is,
superintendent.
but I think we can, relying on their expertise will help expedite that.
So what are you proposing?
I don't know, if we look at, you know, if we're gonna be previewing those, if we're gonna preview those resumes, and we're gonna, on the 15th, we're gonna get kind of the recommendations, then I mean, it seems like if we marry those two lists together, we could come up with a list of semifinalists.
Without videos.
And then get the videos. Or I guess then we don't need the videos if we're,
That's a question, yeah.
I think that's
Because
essentially what
then
we're
you're doing,
proposing
then
with
you're
the
doing the
videos,
in-person. But yeah.
We could decide on the 15th if you want to have videos or not, or just.
The
go back to
videos, the videos is where we got our 6, right? And then, yeah, and then we brought 6 on, I don't know.
I would tell you the video, actually the video taping of it, they can redo it as many times as they wish. And they can look back at it, see if they didn't like it.
I learned
It's not
more
a live
from,
performance.
I learned more from their video than I did their resume.
Probably so.
Yes, I mean, for me, the video, like I read through all the resumes and highlighted what I believe is important in our superintendent, which is different than others on the board. But their video either confirmed it, or I was like, okay, that's what I questioned, and so I don't know. But I'm a visual learner, like that's how my brain functions, and that's how my brain works.
So if we get together on the 23rd to review videos, do you want to interview the 6 on the 3rd of February? Or the 10th? Be out that day too.
I think we need to be conscious of the number of other districts that are hiring superintendents that are going to be in the same pool. And the longer we go out in February, the more opportunity there is for these individuals to be given offers from other districts.
Is DCG hiring? Are they?
Oh, no, they're gonna make a decision December 18th whether they will, whether they will stick with their interim or if they.
We'd be ahead of them then anyways.
Yeah, you'll be ahead of them. And then I know that Grinnell, I don't know where they're at in their process. And ICAM, which is a smaller district, yeah, I think they're looking also.
If we watch videos on Tuesday, the 23rd, is Saturday, the 27th too soon to do semifinalist interviews? A 5-day window?
Like Saturdays,
I mean, some of these folks potentially could be flying in, is that?
If you select someone from out of state, yes, or driving.
Pretty quick to set up some of that.
So what is the Saturday that you have available?
you don't, like, you don't want to know. I mean, that week you're proposing is cabaret on top of, like, I'm just gonna have to talk to my family because this is just the most intense.
Yeah, I mean, cabaret's Saturday evening performance, right?
Right, but I'm over in Bettendorf with my other daughter.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
So I'll have to figure it out and,
Do we want to do 2 evenings that week for semifinalist interviews instead of a Saturday?
But I think we talked about that's difficult for the candidates. I think we got to stick with a weekend for the candidate schedule.
I'm good with whatever.
It,
Used to be in.
And I mean, I don't-
like Sundays work for me, but I know that those aren't
and I
good days.
don't know if it's an option, Sue, and I know this isn't ideal, but if your weekends are all locked up, I mean, is there a way we can kind of incorporate your input and move forward
Well, I'll
without
just-
your in person, or what do you think?
I think it's important for you to be here.
I think we had some board members missing last time during the search, and I think it changed the dynamic. And I
Is it
think
a problem?
I think everyone needs to be in person.
Okay.
Whatever,
So,
Tim can do this.
and so maybe what we need is just kind of look at your calendar and
Yep,
figure out
I'll
which
just go home and-
Saturdays work for you, or whatever days we're going to do it on.
So can we tentatively plan on the 3rd? And if we need to change it to the 10th?
I think you said you're out the 3rd.
It's moving.
Okay, tentative the 3rd, or did we decide that?
Just you guys put it down and I'll figure something out, just like last year.
I want to make sure that you're here.
Is this something that can be accomplished by email once everybody can go home and look at their schedules?
Well, you got somewhere place to be.
I kind of want to go watch the basketball game.
Well, we should be able to.
If that's the last thing we have to cover.
Let's tentatively plan on the 3rd and we'll figure out schedules with everybody.
So are you looking at a full day again on the 3rd?
Well, we did it till noon, remember? So it was an hour, starting at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah. But I don't know that we'd start at 7, because one of the candidates wanted to start that early, if you remember. So we started at 7.
And Sundays are out.
Wasn't that 10 ins guy?
Probably.
Yeah, Sundays are probably out.
I would think that we'd stay away from Sundays.
I don't remember actually.
And then when we do the 3 finalists,
What week would that be, the week of?
If we do the 3rd, it'd be the week of the 5th. If we do the 10th, it'd be the week of the 12th.
So your board meeting is right now tentatively is scheduled as the 12th.
So if we did the interviews the week of the 5th, we could
Tentatively
Approve it the
possibly
12th.
have it on the 12th.
Johnny, do you know how long it takes for background checks to get back?
From ours,
24 hours.
yeah, it's pretty quick.
We
Unless
actually
it's-
read one this morning that was back this afternoon, first time ever.
Unless his name is John Smith, then they have to, if it's a common name, it's harder.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and we don't know, again, we have a board member that is remote. So I don't know what his schedule will allow. He may not be able to, that would be difficult, to do this. by phone.
What date?
Yeah, I don't know that he's gonna be able to sit someplace for 5 hours. Like, I know, like, what's best for the candidates, but it also might be where we can only do 3 in one day and 3 in another day. I mean, we have to think we need that voice.
And many of them will try to make it work, Like I said, some of them don't all have board meetings on Monday nights, and, some of them are, if they're
Want the
smaller
job, they'll
districts, they
show
may
up.
have multiple board meetings from different schools.
Do you do, if you did 2 nights, would it be Wednesday and Thursday nights? Because it's not a Friday the weekend, it's not a Tuesday is a basketball game. And you want to
Thank
do
you,
that.
that's where I'm at too. Like, also,
I don't think.
there's
I've
times
ever
I've had to show up for a job interview at 4 PM on a Friday because that was the time slot I was given.
Figure out how to make it work.
Like,
Right, if they can't make it work, that helps you understand that person.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
yeah.
That's what I would
No,
say.
In hiring people.
We'll be making ourselves as volunteers, so.
So could we capsulize this so the application closes January 9th, 8th.
And
Board
you're gonna
meeting-
close that right before midnight?
Yeah, well, I think 11 o'clock is
11
when
o'clock is when
and
it's-
there's a reason for that. The reason that we closed it that late was because lots of times superintendents don't start their work till after their regular day's done, and so they may work till that late. January 15th, you wish to have what from me again?
Your input.
Input? Okay,
Which includes like a recommended candidate list, is that right?
okay.
Yeah.
And then at that meeting, after that meeting, I will contact, or our office will contact those that you want to have a video. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then the videos you want to view when? Tell me again on that.
Tuesday, the 23rd is what we've tentatively got.
So their videos they would have probably from the 16th to the 22nd to get their videos into our office, and then our office to be able to process those and send them to Shelley. So they have about a 5-day window to get it done.
Yeah.
It's too short, we could go to that Thursday.
Yeah, and if you're getting feedback that that's not enough time,
We could go to
we
a
could go
Wednesday or
to Wednesday or
Thursday.
Thursday if we have to.
That would be better, just because we've got candidates doing videos, sending them to our office processing, sending to,
So then
Ryan's
he
done at noon
On
on
Thursdays.
Thursdays. Would you guys be available in the afternoon on that Thursday, the
And
25th?
what date was it?
Or just 5:30.
January what, 25th?
25th?
I have no idea. I'll just make it, I'll figure it out. Sue and I are like kind of in the same boat, like we don't.
I will tell you, I could do that, but it would be probably 5 to 7 because that is opening night at Cabaret. And that's the only night I can go to see my daughter perform.
So you can't be here between 5 and 7, or you can?
I can be here. Up until 7.
Okay.
And, but if that's the only date that works, I'll make it work. It's right over there, so.
That's for the videos, right? That's to watch the videos.
Do you want to do 4 o'clock?
Talk to the people that have to work. I mean, 4
Would
o'clock
that
works
work?
fine.
I can be flexible.
Last time we
This
had
would be a
quite a bit
closed
of.
session, it'd be a closed
Last time we
session.
had quite a bit of discussion.
And you have to have a quorum, yeah.
How long's each video, Kim?
12 minutes.
They are 3 minutes for each question, but since you have 4 questions, they would be 12 minutes.
So Rob, can you start at 4 on Thursday, the 25th of January?
Yep.
Okay. Can we have 4 o'clock start?
What time?
4 o'clock.
On the 25th.
Ryan and Tim. Kim won't be able to start that. It'll be in the middle of this day, 2 o'clock.
The only other thing that I would counsel the board about is that this contract is really, really small as far as what Mac and Jake's responsibilities are for this job. And so if there's times you want me here, that would have to be an additional cost to the district. So, and not that I'm trying to follow it to the letter, but after the videos are provided for the short list of candidates, that's the end of what the responsibilities are on the contract.
Why can't we just watch the videos on our own and then come in and discuss them as a board, so that way we maximize our own? I mean, I can sit there and watch a video.
I think it has to do with, yeah.
Discuss it.
Yeah, we probably need to find that out from the lawyer, just legal.
Because now it's going to
Keep it a
seven,
Because it's
seven
going to,
different
it's
people's
going out to
email.
everybody. Because it would be a closed session if you were all together, and
Does that go against our, that might go, yeah, that disclosure too, now they're in our personal emails watching it at home.
with no, I get what you're saying, it'd be more efficient, much more efficient.
If we came on site and watched them individually, would that?
You guys don't have secure site to watch videos, or?
That's what that's kind of, we could go like 3 at a time. You know, these 3 one day, these 3 another day.
But we couldn't have any
And just
You
can't
couldn't- yeah,
discuss.
they're- Yeah, you don't have a quorum, so you would, that would be.
I think we keep the Thursday, 25th if it works, and then we may need to do something and send them electronically
to
for
Tim.
Tim. And we need to maybe figure that out on your guys' end legally, if they can send it to one or through a secured site, I don't know. Versus sending them to one versus sending them out to 7 is different. But I wonder, might be something in there that says because he is remote.
Security clearance, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
When can we talk to Tim? When's he,
Tentative on February 3rd,
That's fine.
did he mention?
and then final board meeting is the 12th.
Like when he's back
So we'll have to do the final
When he's back out,
3 sometime after the 5th.
like November.
Well, the time we did it last time on that week,
Like,
we were here
to be
every
able
day.
to talk on the phone.
So we
Like,
brought
did
him
one
in
tomorrow,
Monday,
like-
Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we met as a group.
What would be the best time for him? I just knew that he
I
was
mean,
driving
you could have a
through the
special
mountains.
board meeting.
Reception.
So that week, the week we bring the finalist on, we just met every night. So if that's the week, we should probably get that in our calendars and block out from 6 to.
It was like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or something like that we had.
Oh, we ran
Monday,
into that
Tuesday, Wednesday,
snowstorm.
Thursday.
We ran into the snowstorm and we had to shift a little bit. But if that's the week, I'm gonna put that in my calendar right now then.
Which week? Which week?
So it would be, we would meet February 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th in the evenings.
Hey, 1 second, how's it go, Tim? Tim joined the meeting at 7:18.
Oh,
Hey, Tim. Hey, I'm in the middle of the board meeting here, and we're still in open meeting. We're just trying to figure out times. How open is your evenings, and how open is your Saturdays in January, Tim? For for finalists, semifinalists and final interviews of candidates?
January Saturdays in the, probably after like 1 PM are probably a pretty good time.
About February. Does that include February?
Yeah, it'll pretty much be the same for me.
And then what's your earliest on a Wednesday, Thursday evening, evening our time, afternoon your time, that you would actually be able to meet and maybe watch videos with the rest of us?
I would say, I mean, pretty much, I can probably, in most cases, I will be in a position where I can cut away at like 3:30 my time, 5:30 your time, to try and cover something like that.
Okay, okay. And you could do that for like a 2.5 hour time period?
Are you talking like every Wednesday night?
No,
or are you talking
no,
like a
just
couple
one
Wednesday nights out of the month?
one Wednesday, one Thursday for a
Might be a
semi,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
The week of February
Yeah,
12th.
that's fine, I can make that work.
the videos is what I was referring to.
Sue, I thought we said February 5th, right after the semifinals. Like
Okay.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Higher at the 12th, so it'd be.
Oh.
January, only time frame that I have that's not ideal would be the 12th through the 15th of January.
Okay, that's
It's a board
fine.
meeting.
That would be the board meeting. We're just going through our schedule here real quick.
You said January 12th through the 15th doesn't work for you?
Not an ideal time, right?
Okay. We have a regular board meeting on the 15th. Is that,
I will probably be able to call into that one. It
Okay.
depends. I'll be flying that day, so provided that the time frame works that I'm able to call in, I'll call in from the airport and be part of it. I'll plan to call in from the airport and be part of that.
okay. That will, okay.
Tell him we're checking to see if
Saturday,
he can
February
get things
3rd, all day.
electronically to review them himself.
Oh, and we're gonna check, Tim, if you could get some, like the videos electronically to view yourself, like
Sure.
legally, if that's allowed. We're gonna find that out.
Okay.
You would be able to watch it securely somehow, right? Like with other people around?
Absolutely. Yeah, I have a government computer that in my own room can
Okay.
watch that individual final interviews that I need to. And I brought my iPad from the ICSD with me, so.
Okay. Cool. All right. Anything else I need to ask Tim while he's on the line? Okay, we're just trying to nail down a schedule, man, so sorry to bother you.
No, it's all right. I'm sorry I missed it. I got, just tonight didn't work and so.
Yeah, that's okay, man. All right, thanks, Tim.
That's all I need.
All right.
Okay.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Yep, bye.
Okay.
So we left the meeting 7:22 there.
What's that?
Left the meeting at 7:22.
He left the meeting at 7:22.
Those dates work for Ryan.
When were you deciding on your final candidates? What was the date?
20th, after we watch those videos.
Oh, that's the final 6 or the final? Sorry. Finalist.
Yeah, we nailed down the
So
finalists.
if we have local, so if we have our final 6 or whatever on the 25th, and we've got several that are local, why can't we use that next week to bring in a few of those so the Saturday's not 6 hours long,
I think that's
right?
fine.
Like
Yeah.
if we've got local people and we're available to meet,
We should know by the
Do you want
the
to,
15th and the 25th.
do you want to pencil in a date, just in case we got some local?
yeah, I mean, last time we had some local people. And so if we have a few local people, do we want to count on something that last week in January just to have it on there?
Past the 25th, like.
So the week of the 29th?
30, 31, 1, 2.
Yeah, we can do Tuesday the 30th or Thursday the 1st.
Maybe Thursday would be better because it's closer to that Saturday, be a little fresher.
You brought it up.
It's your birthday?
It is.
We'll bring cupcakes.
Apple, or rhubarb.
Rhubarb cupcakes.
No. We can, it's fine. We can do that or the Tuesday, it doesn't matter. What was Ryan saying about Tuesdays?
He's fine.
We'll do Tuesday.
We'll do Tuesday.
I'm just gonna put it on here so it's on there, and if we end up not needing it, then we end up not needing it, so it's,
What week for finalist interviews?
The week of the 5th.
The week of the 5th.
So Tuesday, the 26th.
Tuesday the
Tuesday the 30th.
30th.
Sorry, I was looking at February.
January 30th.
Just a 5:30 start,
5:30.
normal.
The normal procedure that Mac and Jake has used in the past is that the firm will get a hold of the semifinalists and the finalists, but if that's something, Mac and I talked about that, if that's something that the district wishes to do, we can do that, or I can do that, whatever you choose.
I think we
Or
can do it.
or Shelley can do that.
We can figure it out when we get there.
Okay.
Bears mud? Okay.
Can somebody just give us a schedule so we can look at
Go revise this.
So how about
Wait.
That was a draft, see that?
All right,
So the goal is the 12th, to have a final superintendent decided by that night, right?
for approval on the,
Happy President's Day.
There you go.
Tomorrow night's meeting, Matt, what would you want me to do there?
I don't know, what do you think? Do we want or need anybody there? Or, I think worst case scenario, we could always send
What's your
questions
goal?
forward.
Like just answering questions? Do you have a prepared speech or what?
I've worked on stuff I plan to talk to you about. Really just being able to present the information that we have now, including this calendar and kind of the proposed process that we're gonna go through. Going back to some of the information that we have from 2 years ago on what it is that we're looking for and what our priorities are. I don't know as though there's gonna be a ton of questions, Kim, that are really directed towards the firm that we aren't gonna be able to answer. So if something comes up, we'll send you an email.
Okay, perfect.
And Sue, you're not able to come, right, tomorrow night?
Yeah.
You'll be there. Okay.
I'll be there.
I'm leaving it in the street.
You'll be
I look forward
there.
to seeing you.
You'll be there.
All right, is there a,
But wait a minute, go down to the next one. Do you need to, oh, Ray, go to the next one, sorry, I was pointing to you. Does this still hold true?
For me, it did.
yeah, for me it did.
When you're looking at those applications, do a cross-check, because that's what we do, to see that their letter of application speaks to those. That's a good cross-check to know if they're paying attention to that. It's the little McPherson and Jacobson tip.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second by Rob, second by Ben, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Ben, who they play tonight?
Joy, did you say 20?